June 18th, 2016 garden update. Everything's been growing good, though I have had to do a lot of watering. It's been a pretty dry month. We got some rain last night, so that was much needed. I just finished up pulling the rest of my lettuce. What are you doing, bud? I just finished pulling the rest of my lettuce up and just weeding my garden and getting it cleaned up before I went on vacation. So I have a decent amount of bare areas now that I need to figure out what to do with them. I'm not exactly sure, but I'll figure that out once I get back in town. I might just do some quick runs of lettuce, or I don't know, maybe some beans, maybe even some more tomatoes. I don't know, we'll see. But I just finished harvesting my beets. That's the rest of my beets. The beets came out good. They were great last year too, so I'm really enjoying the way the beets grow back here. I spoke about it before, but this is looking south, and my beds are pretty much on the north side of that tree line, so I don't get the most sun in the world. A lot of times it's hidden behind these trees. This is the longest part of the season, so they're getting toward the top of those trees, but I do lose a decent amount of sun, or I don't have as much sun as a lot of gardens do. But those beets grow well. All these leafy greens grow well. The garlic grew really well here. I just put a ground cherry in the ground, and it's already putting a cherry on there. So we'll see how that does there. I'll probably get my compost pulled out of the bins once I get back in town and just get that in this bed, all the blank areas. This new bed's working out good. This is I ripped all this. Is just a couple, I think I had a rosemary bush here. I ripped that out and put some potting soil and some compost down. And the idea was to get some thyme growing. I've got some red vein sorrel it's doing good. I don't get that much sun here, but I'm not going to complain because the tomatoes are doing decent. This is 2 cherry tomato hybrid 100s, I think, sweet 100s, and I split the right one into 2 and run it up, and the left one into 3. So I've got 5 trunks going up this trellis, and I'm just training them as a single, but like single runs going up. But I can't really complain, even with not as much sun, I'm still getting some good flowers through here. So I think I'm gonna get some decent cherry tomatoes on this area. It'll just take a little longer to ripen up. This area I pulled out all the lettuce so that Swiss chard can breathe now, so I think that'll start thickening up and growing well. I think when I get back I might plant some more lettuce here just to get some another rotation of that going. This bed has just become a big old vegetated just polyculture here. The oca is still doing good. This is the first year I've done that, so it's going to be interesting to see what I get out of this. I did struggle with the squirrels digging up a bunch of them, but I think those are mature enough that I'm not going to have any more issues. So hopefully I'll get some tubers out of those coming in the fall. All the dandelions have matured, and I let some of it go to seed, and the others I picked off, but I'm going to pull those roots out at the end of the season, or some of them, start making some tea out of it. The red vein sorrel in there is getting drowned out, but it's doing good. Looks like a lot of this. Let's see. I did 2 kinds of Swiss chard. One is the perpetual Swiss chard, which is the one on the right here, and I forgot the name of this. I wish I would have looked it up. But I like that perpetual Swiss chard better. It's just a hardier Swiss chard. This one looks nice, you know, the big leaves and all, but it's really thin. It seems like the bugs like it a little bit better. The wind will knock them down a little bit easier. So it's good to have a little diversity. The collard trees, they're doing decent. I think the powdery mildew hits them kind of hard. For example, you can see how they'll yellow up like that. But I've been giving most of those to my chickens. And my last chance at my squash or zucchini, I've said last try about 5 years in a row, but the powdery mildew is too much for it. There's a cabbage looper there trying to do his thing. So I need to spray those before I go out of town, make sure they don't get eaten up too much. Here's the main bed. The tomatoes are doing great. We had really good rain in the beginning of the season, and it's just I've been having to water them a lot more than I wanted to the last few weeks. But you can see these tomatoes are doing awesome. I mean, I'm getting, you know, one flower's putting off three of these trunks, so I can't complain about that at all. The Malabar spinach is doing good. You can see that climbing up here. And these are the first two I got going, and I let those just do individual trunks because I wasn't too sure what to expect from them. But I started pinching some of the others off, and the characteristic of the plant, definitely the way to go, is to pinch the tips, and it really creates that lateral spread on them. As you can see on these, this is where I used to have my peas, and these were really drowned out and just didn't get much sun, and they had some bug damage, but they're really starting to leap now. You can see they're starting to leap, and I think some of them are starting to spread and to branch out a little bit, that ones that got really heavy damage. And you see this one here, this was a single trunk coming up, and I pinched the tip right here, and when I pinched that tip, not only did it branch off right here, but all down the stem it created those, it made it side shoot on all of them. So on all of these, I think I want to just clip the tip as they mature a little bit more, and that should just make this whole area spread out and become a Malabar spinach wall. But that Malabar spinach is great. I'm really happy with it. It grows really well. The bugs do like it, but I mean, as long as you grow enough of it, you know, the bugs can only eat so much. This is another area that I did it. I'm trying in a couple different areas where different, amounts of shade. I didn't want to do it where it's too sunny. Well, over there, that's probably my sunniest area, and you can see it went to seed really quick. So like every leaf node, it put a flower out. So I'm not sure if that really matters. It might. I mean, I'm sure it definitely takes away from the leaf growth or how fast those leaves grow. But I've got enough growing here. I'm not too worried. You can see here in the shade, it didn't quite do that. And I've got some of these laterals that they haven't put off flowers yet, but you can see this one, it did. So definitely the sunnier areas, it's going to get a flower a lot quicker. But even when it gets a flower, it's still putting leaves off. Swiss chard. This is the perpetual Swiss chard that I like growing. It's really hardy Swiss chard. But just these 6 clumps put off so much, you just can't keep up with it. The amaranth, I haven't harvested any of that, obviously. You can see how big it's getting. I was going to try to harvest that earlier in the year. Just haven't had the hankering to eat any of it yet. But I do need to get on that once I get back into town and harvest it, and maybe do another run of that. That's what I might do on some of these berry areas, because it's such a prolific, fast grower, especially in the heat of the summer. that I probably can do a couple runs of those and get a bunch of simmers going with that. It's good with simmer sauce. You know, it's not something you're gonna eat raw right off the vine, but it's a good leafy thing to simmer up in some sauce. The tomatoes, you can see early on we had a bunch of rain. That's why I've got all these nice lower blooms. But we had a really dry area since then, so they haven't grown that much, but they're starting to put some more flowers off up top here. So as long as I keep them watered, I think they'll be all right. I'm gonna start putting off some more bigger fruit. Only problem is I'm going out of town, and they don't tend to get watered quite as well when I'm out of town, you know. But whatever. This is my cherry tomato over here, my Jerusalem artichokes, and it's growing well. I've been able to get a couple of tomatoes out of here already. What the birds don't get. I need to give it some water. It's looking kind of dry. The oak underneath they're doing decent. I pulled the leaves off in the bottom of these Jerusalem artichokes to help get some sun in there, and that seems to help a little bit. But this is more of an experiment just to see if I could get my tomatoes and Jerusalem artichokes to grow together, and I think that's going to be a good combination there. This is a ground cherry here also. Here's two ground cherries. These are I'd recommend these to anybody that has a garden. You can see it's got a little, almost like a lantern outer leafy matter. It's probably like a modified leaf or something that wraps around that fruit, or a modified part of the flower. But this is what's inside, and it's delicious. It's like a pineapple-y mango. That's probably the perfect description. It's like half pineapple, half mango. And they're really good. Next year, I'm gonna grow a ton of those because the birds do like to get them. Here's some more Malabar growing up here. I've got it all over the place. We're trying a bunch of different areas to see where it grows the best. Looks like this one's trying to wrap and go up the pole. This is one that I must have dropped the seed here, because I've got one growing up here, and you can see it's growing up the tomato plant, which I think that's actually a good combination. This Malabar and tomato is doing decent. Starting to get my first red tomato here. As you can see, that's starting to turn. I've got these. These are the little pantyhose footings that the shoe places have. So when you're trying on shoes, I ordered some off eBay. I'm gonna wrap as many of these tomatoes as I can, in the hopes that it deters the birds a little bit. You see, I got a couple of them wrapped already, but we'll see. The birds usually come out here and get their fill. That's about it. The front yard peppers are doing awesome. I've been getting a bunch of tomatoes off of those, or peppers off of those. Yeah, Robin. Hey, bud. Yeah, that front yard garden has. My peppers are doing great. I've got oh goodness. I've got a ton of peppers off those already. No red ones. I've picked a couple of green ones just to put in some dishes, and some what was the other tomato? I don't know, the banana peppers. Those are doing awesome. I've been picking tons of those off. So those banana peppers are definitely a good early pepper season for peppers. Basil in the corner. It's doing good. It's going to flower, so I need to harvest that. I'm going to harvest a bunch of that and take it down to the beach. Do some bruschetta. And getting those flowers off. Hey buddy, what you doing back here? Is that your spot? I didn't know you liked it back there. Yeah, that's about it. That's the garden. It's mid-June, getting toward the end of June. What is it, June 18th? So this is usually a difficult time for the garden because it's so hot, so dry in North Carolina this time of year. So I usually the productivity of the tomatoes usually drops because of the heat, but the tomatoes that are left on it begin to mature. But we'll see. You never know. North Carolina has the craziest seasons. You never know if it's going to be rainy, dry, hot, or cold. So I'll just cross my fingers and hope for the best. That's about it. Peace out.